Hey guys, Marcos Villegas here in another one of these blog posts breakdowns, and this one now for the fight that we've all been waiting for, Mayweather versus Canelo, happening on September 14th. Huge freaking fight, and this is how I know it's a huge freaking fight. When my friends that don't even follow boxing really too closely are talking about it on Facebook, just about everybody's talking about this fight. And from people that don't even really watch boxing at all whatsoever. So this is going to be a huge fight on September 14th. Here rocking the Pride shirt. Just want to give Pride a big shout out. Best organization ever. Fight organization in my opinion. Yeah, greats like Fedor, Shogun, Wanderlei, Mark Coleman, Randleman, all those guys. If you don't know of Pride, you need to go back, go on the internet, go on Dailymotion, buy the DVDs, look at the Pride fights, because the Pride fights were some of the very best fights in all of combat sports. Pride did something very special. They knew how to package everything, mix entertainment with really awesome matchups. But let's go ahead and talk about this Mayweather versus Canelo matchup. I wrote some notes down here. First off, surprised that it happened so quickly. We were all expecting this fight to happen sooner or later, but we're expecting it to happen in like 2014. We weren't expecting Floyd to go from Robert Guerrero into Canelo Alvarez. That's wow. Him doing this so late in his career at 36, it really props to Mayweather, man. You got to give him props on that. Him going from one tough guy, because regardless of how Mayweather made Guerrero look, Guerrero is a tough dude. It's really hard to make a dude, any guy at an elite level like that, a world-class level, look like they're nothing. They're like some chump off the street. And by all means, Robert Guerrero is no chump, So he goes from that matchup, which he had a hell of a training camp. He even said it was his hardest training camp, going into this Canelo Alvarez fight. So big props to him. Surprised that it got made so quickly. That goes to show you there really needs to be one promoter or all promoters working together so we can get these fights making. Because look how long the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight took negotiation-wise to get to happen, and then didn't happen, And it makes you think, well, if Canelo and Mayweather, look how fast that happened. Obviously, they have the same promoter, but look how fast that happened. And, it really, the beef needs to stop, because we should have gotten Mayweather-Pacquiao. That was a big, huge slap in the face from boxing and boxing promoters to us fans that we didn't get Mayweather-Pacquiao. So, he's taking this fight in September. Big props to him, but the other reason why he's probably taking this fight is it's been rumored that his last fight with Robert Guerrero didn't get a million buys. There's probably a lot of pressure from Showtime, from Golden Boy, and on himself as well to do a matchup that's going to not only get a huge pay-per-view draw, that's going to pay him handsomely, but also that's going to get a lot of attention and not a lot of criticism from people. So right there, Canelo is the biggest and most popular fighter in the U.S. He's starting to cross over a little bit here. In Mexico. I said the U.S. Biggest and most popular fighter in Mexico. He's starting to cross over here in the U.S. You're starting to see him in Under Armour commercials. I'm pretty sure you're going to start to see him in a lot more commercials in the build-up to this fight over here. So he already brings that huge fan base from Mexico. You got Mayweather, top guy, top fighter here in the U.S. So it's guaranteed to do well on pay-per-view. It's guaranteed to make Floyd the most amount of money possible out of all opponents. And, it's a win-win for us. We're all excited for it. We're very excited for it. Can't wait for it to happen. There was really no one else that made sense for Floyd when you look at it. You can make an argument for Amir Khan based on business. He would look like to be the fighter that would make a lot of sense for Floyd to fight in England, but a lot of you fans have expressed that you don't want to see Mayweather fight Amir Khan, that it would be easy work, that Mayweather would end up knocking out Amir Khan because of the whole issue of Amir's chin and how he so easily gets hurt in his fights. And given, Mayweather's pinpoint accuracy, a shot would come in that would really hurt Amir and could end the fight. So that's out of the water. Canelo, Mayweather coming up. And it's at a catch weight of 152 pounds, which I'm okay with it. And I'll tell you why I'm okay with it, because I know a lot of people online have a little bit of a gripe with it. I'm okay with it because it allowed for the fight to happen. If Mayweather versus Pacquiao happened at a catch weight of 143, I would have been happy. Catch weight 145, I would have been fine. As long as these fights happen, honestly, I could care less if it's for a title belt. Who gives a... title belts don't really mean anything anymore. You got a guy like Lucas Matisse, who's not the champion at 140 pounds, but who's seen by everyone as the true #1 fighter in the world. These belts don't mean really anything anymore to us because there's so many. You don't know who the hell's champion. They go and make you champion, and then they unmake you champion, and they call you champion in recess, champion emeritus, and then they give you a silver belt. It's all messed up. It's all stupid. These sanctioning bodies, organizations ruin boxing. That's the real reason why boxing's ruined. There should be one champ, and they don't do that shit. But 152, it's not a big deal to me. 2 pounds. A lot of people could say that. To me personally, it's not a big deal. But it could be hell for Canelo because, you know, I know how it is when you're cutting weight. You know, getting to 154, you have a system down to get to 154, and you know how much your body burns the night before a fight. Those extra 2 pounds for a guy who's cutting from 170, 175 is going to affect him a little bit. It's going to play into him mentally. It's going to make him work a little bit harder. I know in wrestling, if I were to get a weight like that, I'd be like, God damn it, you know, I have this thing to a science already, and I have to still cut 2 extra pounds. So that's a little bit discomfort on Mayweather's end to Canelo. But why the catch weight? He fought Cotto at 154, so why is he fighting Canelo at 152, you know? For such a long time, Mayweather's criticized Manny Pacquiao about fighting fights at catch weights, and now he's doing it against Saul Canelo Alvarez. So, you know, I feel that Mayweather should probably take those comments back because now he himself is doing that. Now, you bring up, well, Miguel Cotto, you know, was huge at 154. He weighed like 170, 167 the night of the fight. Mayweather was just like a welterweight, which is true. You know, when the fight happens, Mayweather's not going to weigh 154. He's probably going to weigh 152. Mayweather doesn't really gain weight. So, you know, if you take into account like, well, you know, Saul's going to be way too big for Mayweather. That's not cool. He's going to weigh 170, 175. Cotto weighed the same thing. You know, he weighed the same thing, and Mayweather had a pretty competitive fight with Miguel Cotto. Now, taking that into account, Floyd Mayweather Jr. only fights that he knows he can win. So taking that into account, he knows he can beat Saul Canelo Alvarez. I feel he can beat Saul Canelo Alvarez. If you looked at the fights, well, okay, let's look at Austin Trout. Saul wasn't able to land his combination punches against Austin Trout because Austin Trout didn't allow himself to stay on the ropes. Austin Trout was fairly mobile around the ring, and it limited Saul Alvarez's offense to just jabs and straights. Though the jabs and straights did work, knock down Trout, it wasn't a vintage Canelo Alvarez performance that we've seen before. Granted, Trout's hell of a lot better than just about everybody Saul's faced. And let's be real, Saul's faced a bunch of guys that weren't any good, and Josecito's a good fighter. Taking nothing away from Josecito. It's just he moved up way too much in weight. It was unfair to Josecito. But everybody else, you know, that Saul has fought has honestly been whacked. They sucked, you know. So in this fight, you know Floyd's going to move a lot. You know Floyd's not going to allow himself to stay against the ropes. Floyd's not going to fight this guy toe-to-toe because this guy has huge freaking power. This guy's speed is a little bit better than Miguel Cotto, so he's going to be really, really smart in there, and I feel that he's really going to limit Saul Alvarez's offense to just jabs and straights. And if he's able to limit Saul Alvarez's jabs and straights in his connect percentage, it's going to be a blowout. Sorry to tell you guys, but yeah, it's probably going to be Saul's going to win maybe 3-4 rounds, and Mayweather, you know, it's going to be a typical Mayweather fight. If he's in the same shape that he was with Robert Guerrero. Now, if something slips, if this is too much wear and tear in Floyd's body, then it's going to be a completely different fight. This is a hell of a lot harder fight for Saul Alvarez than it is for Floyd Mayweather Jr. If Floyd fights like Floyd, he should have an easy time. He just needs to be smart and not let Saul Alvarez corner him or cut off the ring. Something that I expect him to do, something that Robert Guerrero didn't do as well. But, you know, at this point, Saul Alvarez is always improving, but I feel that to beat Floyd Mayweather Jr., you have to match him in speed, and you have to also not only pressure him, but you got to outthink this guy. You got to set a trap onto a trap. He's a counterpuncher by nature, even though we've been seeing him more recently willing to mix it up like he mixed it up earlier in his career. Floyd's so versatile. But you have seen, though, that Floyd, the guys that he has had trouble with, two guys, Jose Luis Castillo and Zab Judah. Jose Luis Castillo pressured him like crazy. He was on him like white on rice. But Floyd's learned from that because every person takes that fight into account and feels that they can beat Floyd based on that. And Floyd's learned to deal with that. But Zab Judah gave him a hell of a lot of problems in those early first rounds. Why did Zab give him that many problems? Because Floyd, when he's not used to facing guys as fast as he is. So to really beat Floyd Mayweather Jr., you got to be freaking super fast, and you got to rely on a jab. And, you know, you really hope to see Saul Alvarez use his jab in this fight and put some combinations. He's not going to be able to land 4 or 5 combinations we've seen him land. You know, his offense is going to be negated to what we saw against Trout. Floyd's not going to let this guy get 3-4 hit combinations on him. He's only going to allow him to land a jab, land a straight. Saul Canelo Alvarez needs to fight the smartest fight of his life. He needs to go ahead and rely heavily on the jab. Hit to the body, hit to the head. When he hits to the head, counter with a hook. We saw Shane Mosley hit to the body, land a straight to the head. I asked Shane, why weren't you able to land the hook? And he said, you know, I just couldn't. And he's like, if Sugar Ray Leonard were to fight Floyd Mayweather Jr., Sugar Ray Leonard would have landed that hook. And that hook, Floyd is sometimes successful to that hook when you land it straight. So taking that into account, Saul Alvarez needs to do that. And they say you're born with speed. Bruce Lee says in his books that you can improve your speed and make your hand speed a little bit faster. I say Saul Alvarez, get one of Bruce Lee's books and work on your hand speed. You know, he's still very flat-footed as a fighter, though. His defense has gotten a hell of a lot better. He always gets a hell of a lot better. You know he's going to elevate his game for this fight coming up. But, you know, when push comes to shove, you got to go with Floyd because Floyd has fought fighters like Saul Canelo Alvarez and has done really, really well. But either or, great freaking fight. What a great year for boxing. 2013, we saw Mayweather fight twice. We're seeing Pacquiao fighting Brandon Rios. We saw the rise of Lucas Matisse, who hopefully is going to fight Danny Garcia. What a great damn year for boxing and for combat sports in general. Just want to end it on this note. Bigfoot Siva is a big freaking crybaby. Cain Velasquez beat him fair and square, and it's retarded that he's saying illegal blows. Why doesn't he say to himself, why'd I get hit with that 1-2 punch combination that made me knock down to my knees, made me go on the floor and scramble and get hit by those shots? No, he doesn't bring that up, that he got fucking popped, excuse my language, that he got popped by that 1-2 straight combination. You know, Cain, if Cain were to fight Bigfoot Siva 10 times, Cain would win 10 times. Like, Silva's just being a sore loser. He lost fair and square. On that note, follow us online on our social media sites. Subscribe to us. YouTube.com/FightHub, at FightHubTV on Twitter, at FightHubTV on Instagram. You can follow me if you want at at Me Llamo Marcos on Twitter, at It's Marcos Villegas on Instagram. Like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/FightHubTV. And we'll have more videos coming up. We got a lot of great MMA stuff coming up. We're sending our man Lady Savage all in down California. He's going to get some stuff with Nick Diaz, with Gilbert Melendez, with Ronda Rousey. On the boxing side of things, I'm going to talk to Shane Mosley today about this fight. So we'll have all that coming up to you in the next few days. So stay tuned, guys.